Now we're going to work on the hamstring, which is the muscle that's behind the leg, and an action is to bend your knee. So to stretch it, you really want to keep the leg straight, the knee straight, and feeling it on the back of the leg, trying to touch your toes. Now, if you can't touch your toes in the beginning, you want to try to go as far as you can. If that's your mid shin level, that's great. You want to work your way up to be able to touch your toes without bending that knee. So we do not want to have that knee bent, keeping it as straight as possible, trying to touch your toes and bending the ankle back as much as you can, holding the stretch for about 15 seconds, doing 3 sets of 15, feeling it again in the back of the leg, holding that for 3 sets of 15 seconds, keeping the ankle bent, knee straight. Next, we're going to do seated butterfly stretch for the hips, getting some really good hip stretch and hip mobility. The idea is to try to push your knees down towards the floor, so you can use your elbows to push your knee down to the floor, trying to get them as flat as possible, feeling that stretch into the hip. And each stretch you want to hold about 15 seconds, doing that 3 times, so 3 sets of 15 is a good way to start. Again, pushing the elbows into the knees, trying to get them to almost touch the floor is a really good way to stretch and open up the hips that can get too tight from too much sitting, bicycling, anything you're doing that can tighten the hip flexors. Now we're going to do the piriformis stretch. This one I'm showing seated. So you want to try to lean forward by gently putting pressure onto the knee. And the piriformis muscle is on the back side, so it's mostly tight from a lot of sitting. So as you stretch, you're going to feel it into the back side, and you want to lean forward, slightly twisting the knee. You don't want to torque the hip too much because that's going to really cause some injuries. So you're going to lean forward, gently pushing on the knee, putting more of your body weight over the knee. And you really want to feel it on the back side. All of these stretches, you're going to hold 15 seconds, doing that 3 times. Next, we're going to start on all fours, and then you're going to lean back to almost sitting on your feet, extending your hands as far away as you can. So feet away and hands away, really stretching out to the lower back. And this one, you're going to reach straight out, not to the sides. There's different ones to reach and stretch the side. This one, reach out as far as you can. Starting on all fours, we're going to lean back onto your feet, leaning over to the left, feeling that whole right side of the lower back stretch, reaching out as far as you can, kind of twisting over to the left side, feeling that whole lower back stretch. You want to feel more onto the right side stretching as you're going over to the left. Now switching sides, again, sit onto the feet. You're going to go reach over to the right and feeling the whole lower back stretch, more so onto the left side of the lower back. 15-second hold. We're going to do 3 sets of 15 on each side. And the idea is really to try and focus on one side at a time. All right, next we're going to do what's called the prayer stretch on the ball to stretch the lower back muscles. So we want to keep the hands open, not letting them go down and flat, but palm up, holding that for 15 seconds. Trying to open the hands as wide apart as you can, holding 15 seconds. Trying to push the hands away from the body and your feet away from the ball. So really elongating and feeling that lower back muscles stretch for 15 seconds. Next, we're going to do some bridges on the floor, and here I'm doing on a yoga mat. And we really want to try to lift the pelvis into the air, trying to maintain a straight posture. Here we're doing the beginner level on the floor. We're going to start out at 10 times, doing 3 sets of 10. Bringing into the air, holding for about 3 seconds in the air, coming back down to the floor. Now the more advanced level is on a wobble board. Here I'm using the Bosu, which is going to provide a little bit more of a challenge, but same principle. We're going to lift into the air, holding for 3 seconds, coming down. We're going to start out with 10 times, doing 3 sets of 10. and really try to lift up as high as you can to maintain a straight leveled bridge. Now we're going to do a kneeling hip flexor stretch to really open up the hips, filling it into the front side that can become tight from too much sitting. So leaning forward, keeping the knee on the floor, holding for about 15 seconds, feeling the front of the hip stretch. And leaning forward can really increase the stretch. So keeping the knee on the floor, leaning, feeling the front of the hip is the goal. Holding for about 15 seconds, doing 3 sets. So 3 sets of 15 is the goal. All right, next we're going to do a stretch for the rectus femoris, which is the middle of the thigh. So this stretch is a combination of the hip flexor stretch and the quad stretch, but the difference is you're going to grab the ankle to bend the knee and holding that for about 15 seconds. So we're working a different muscle, the middle of the thigh, called the rectus femoris. Now switching sides, bending the knee, grabbing the ankle, feeling it into the middle of the thigh is the rectus femoris. It's a really hard muscle to stretch, but really effective. And I'm utilizing the ball to help with balance and support so I don't fall. Holding each stretch for about 15 seconds, doing 3 sets of 15 is a good way to start holding that stretch. Now we're going to work on ball squeezing. So lying on your back, you're going to squeeze the ball between your hands and your knees. So when starting out, you're going to keep your arms up and your knees bent. And then trying to squeeze them together. So you're squeezing that into the ball. This is a great alternative to doing stomach crunches. Starting out, bringing the arms into the knees, squeezing into the ball, counting for a count of 3 every time you squeeze in. So we're going to do 3-second squeezes and doing that 10 times. So doing 3 sets of 10 and then moving up to 3 sets of 15, squeezing into that ball. This is a great alternative to doing stomach crunches that may hurt your neck and hurt your lower back.